Admiral, I'm here with those troopers you requested. What seems to be the problem? Well, Commander, after Order 66, not everyone is taking too kindly to our new empire. We've got uprisers attacking our city blockades, so I thought it'd be helpful if you came in with some troopers and helped out our police forces. Right. This has been happening every once in a while, so we're pretty well trained on taking care of rioters. Let's just hope this movement doesn't escalate into some sort of rebellion. Yeah, I doubt that'll happen, but whew, that would be bad. Sure would. We'd have to probably build some sort of death planet to take care of them. Yeah, that'd be pretty funny. Either way, I called in some 187th troopers as well to flank, so they'll hopefully help out your men. Good call, good call. Let's try and take out these riders without too much of a fuss, shall we? Let's do it. Hey guys, what's going on? Daily Tactics here, and I am back with some more Men of War Assault Squad 2, the Star Wars Galaxy at War mod, and today we are back with some more Riot Troopers equipped with Riot Shields. This is one of my favorite units in the entire game, so I like to use them a lot, if you couldn't tell already, and we're going to be doing another sort of inner city battle, except this time around we are on a desert planet here with the Riot Troopers holding various city blocks, lining them with soldiers to block rioters from coming forward. This takes place just after Order 66, and this city has not taken too kindly to the Imperial takeover, so they decided to start an uprising. The uprisers are now moving into the inner city here in order to try and take control of it and thus take control of the planet, but the Riot Troopers are here to stop that from happening. So, like I said before, we have lines of Riot Troopers on various blocks. We also have random troopers on different blockades within the city. We have a few of these beam turrets splattered throughout as well, and just a very large defense here from the clone trooper army that is now joining the Imperial ranks. But on top of that, we also have some of the 187th clone troopers coming in from the flank to try and stop the rebels as well. So they're kind of jutting in this way and going to try and catch the rebels off guard in the side there. The rebels themselves have a wide variety of species and robots and whatnot with them. They have some bounty hunter droids, they have some combat droids, stuff like that. And then they also have a very wide variety of weapons too, so they have quite the arsenal going up against the clone troopers here. Some distance, some mid-range, some close-range shotguns, stuff like that. Either way, it should be a really interesting battle. I'm excited to get it started. I hope you guys are too. Be sure to hit that like button if you enjoy this content and want to see more of it. It helps me out a ton. Leave a comment down below if you enjoyed the battle as well. And without further ado, let's get it going. Alright then, boys, let's go ahead and press start here and kick this thing off. So the rioters begin to move forward and the clones hold their positions. These guys are actually free move clones. There are free movement clones around the map, so these guys will be reflexive to what is happening on the battlefield and stuff like that, which is always kind of fun to have happen. So as we can see, just a ton of fire coming out here and taking out a bunch of these clones right off the bat, but some of them did manage to step off to the side and get to some cover here before getting completely gunned down. This little blockade of Riot Trooper clones are all scattering, but the bigger blockade back here is holding firm. They've actually got sort of like a phalanx pikeman type of battle formation. They had 2 rounds of shields in the front and then just gunners in the back, which I think is kind of cool. Maybe I'll do an entire video just based on, clones doing ancient warfare strategies like phalanxes and stuff like that. That could be kind of cool. I don't know, just a thought there. Either way, most of these clones that are just sort of out in the middle of the streets are getting gunned down. I did give the troopers with riot shields 25 additional health, and that was supposed to sort of be symbolic of the shield's health as well, so they're a little bit tougher than your standard clone trooper here, but not by too much. It's not too big of a buff, but it is something. Either way, we're seeing these lines of clones dying out as they are just sort of getting trapped during this battle in the open, but the rest of the clones seem to be running around, getting some good fire out, and the clones under cover also seem to be doing an excellent job here. The rioters, let's check in on them. They seem to be taking a hefty amount of losses themselves, so it's not just the clones who are faltering here, and you know, the clones are bringing them down a peg, which is what we like to see. Oh, I completely forgot about the flankers. We got to check in on the 187th over here. Seems like they've taken a few losses, but overall, they're still very, very strong, and they're taking to some cover here, and they've wiped out a ton of these uprisers. Like, straight up, I think they've killed more than the main line over here. The 187th is doing a spectacular job on the flank here. Oh, and they're even coming up this way and getting on top of the hillside and firing into the rioters. This was a great move by the clones to send the 187th over there. I'm seeing a dispatchment of Riot Troopers falling back here, moving to the back lines. It seems like the rioters have overtaken this position, so they're trying to make it to the back over here where there are more reinforcements for the clone troopers to utilize. Up on this little square area over here, the rioters seem to be a little bit less successful. These clones are doing a nice job of holding them back in these streets instead of letting them into the courtyard, which is beautiful. But it's only a matter of time, I think, until the rioters get in here. They're a little too strong to just defeat right off the bat, you know? The clones are going to need to grind away at their numbers slowly but surely. And that's where the movement clones really come in, because they will survive the entirety of the battle if they manage to, you know, fall back at the right times, and thus slowly whittling down the enemy. So I think it's important that those guys continue their movement and continue to sidestep these rioters as they come on through. Oh, there's a little mini alleyway over here that the rioters are actually popping through. That's a nice little strat right there. It's a mini flank. I like to see it. That's really good, and it's allowing the main line to also come in because the flankers are taking out the clones inside this little courtyard. That was a beautiful maneuver right there, and its payoff was almost immediate as they are wiping out these clones really, really fast now. The riot line over here is all on their stomachs, firing down with their shields in front of them. They've got a little bit of cover from these little speeders, but not too much. It's not the most helpful of cover, but, I mean, they're utilizing it to the best of their ability, and it seems like they are still getting some kills, which is good. More clones sort of on these flanks over here are managing to shoot these rioters in the back because they're going past the line of defense, actually, which is nice, but they are getting taken out by a few rebels over this way, too. At this point, since it's just immediately after Order 66, I kind of doubt that the Rebel Alliance is, like, fully formed, you know, and fully fleshed out, but there's probably stuff like this going on, and these guys who, if they do survive the battle, are the types of people who would be joining the Rebel Alliance in the future of the Galactic Civil War, that sort of a thing, you know? And, actually, a fun sort of thing, if you've never seen this before, Episode 3 of Star Wars was actually supposed to be, like, 3 hours long or something like that, but George Lucas ended up scrapping a ton of plot lines to shorten the movie overall to make it a more normal feature-length film. But the stuff that he scrapped actually ended up being a lot of things that, you know, developed the relationship between Anakin and Padme and sort of the descent of that relationship and how Padme started going behind Anakin's back a lot more. And one of the things that she was doing was sort of forming the beginning of the Rebel Alliance with, you know, Bail Organa and Obi-Wan and things like that. So it's like this really fascinating scene that you can find on YouTube where they're discussing the start of the Rebel Alliance before the Imperials have even begun to take over. So I'd highly recommend checking that out. I consider it canon. You know, I think it is canon because George Lucas made it, and the only reason it seems like he took it out was because of time restraints for the movie and not wanting to have this 3-hour epic in theaters. It would be really, really cool if the director's cut version of Episode 3 was, you know, the 3-hour length film, but sadly I don't think that's the case. I don't even know if there is a director's cut version of Episode 3. There might be, but I kind of doubt it. I don't think Star Wars ever really did director's cuts, you know? Alright, either way, the rioters are breaking through here. They defeated that little like, phalanx line and managed to push in this way. They took out the little contingency of clones that were holding this corner here, but not before taking an instrumental amount of losses. And now they are getting peppered by this nice little turret over here, which, if this thing can last a long time, could be very, very powerful towards the end of the battle as well. Seems like the clones have this area on lockdown now, as the rioters are not making as much progress as quickly as they were previously. So that is a good sign for the clones, but the battle is far from over because we still have droves and droves of rioters still alive in various points of the map. In addition to that, the 187th is coming in over this way, which should aid the clone troopers in their fight now because they're getting extra forces in here, which is beautiful. There are some rioters positioned around here to try and take them out, but it seems like the 187th is sort of outweighing them at the moment and taking them out really, really nicely. But some of them are taking cover over here, which is a good idea. You know, not all of them are just standing out in the open on these hilltops, which is the worst position you could be in right now. So props to the guys who are actually strategizing and taking cover. That's a beautiful thing. The 187th, in fact, has almost reached the inner city here, and they'll get into the depth of this fighting. There is still a ton of rioters, though, still alive in these various alleyways, so I think both sides have an equal chance of winning this thing. If we look at the minimap, though, on the top left, the blue are the clone troopers, the red are the rioters, and I'd say numbers are roughly even right about now. It's anyone's game still, I'd say. I think the 187th could be the deciding factor, though. Without the 187th, I think the rioters would be toast, but with reinforcements coming in for the clones, that could be big, and that could be instrumental to the victory for the clone troopers / Empire now. You know, not quite the Republic, but rather the Empire. Alright, Riders making a big motion this way to take out the back lines of the Empire. And they're being rather successful here. They are taking out a number of these clone troopers that are holding this line over here. But they're also getting fired at from on top of these hills where it looks like a bunch of Riot Troopers fled to and took up positions on the high ground. Anakin would be so proud. Well, I guess it would be Darth Vader at this point. But yeah, that's pretty sweet right there. I'm pretty sure in terms of civilian resistance, there wasn't a ton at the end of the Clone Wars. I think overall the Imperial propaganda machine was honestly pretty powerful, and it resulted in a lot of sort of appeasement from civilians. So this was probably a rare case, you know, if anything. I think the norm was that civilians were just like, okay, so it's basically just the Republic and we're calling ourselves the Empire now. But then dissent started to form as you know, taxes were implemented, basically fascist regimes were implemented, and that's what really caused the rebellion to spark up amongst civilians and scum and villainy to rise throughout the galaxy. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is a really interesting topic, and I think this is an era I'd love to cover more of, too, because, you know, just sort of that post-Clone Wars, almost pre-Stormtrooper era of Star Wars is rarely touched upon, and I think it's pretty neat, you know? I think it's pretty sick. Maybe I could do like a Stormtroopers fighting alongside Clone Troopers battle, that sort of a thing, like the start of recruiting non-clones while the clone regime is still sort of in existence. That could be kind of cool, too. Either way, the Resistance over here is putting up a nice little fight on this little side street, and I'd say they're honestly winning and taking out the majority of these clone troopers. So this will be a small victory for the uprisers over this way. But then I'm also noticing that a lot of uprisers are trying to take this corner over here, but still a very strong clone trooper resistance is alive over here and stopping them from doing so, which is rather tough. I'd like to check in on the 187th over here. They seem to be sort of checking in on the flanks, making sure they've cleaned up any rioters that are back here, and then they're pushing further in as the battle goes on here. And they're working their way towards this inner courtyard, I think, where there's a lot of rioters just sort of glitched over here. I don't think they're glitched. I think they're just chilling over that way, so, you know, we'll see what ends up happening with these guys. They might end up doing a little last stand in that mini courtyard against the 187th over there, which would be interesting to see. Meanwhile, their brothers are way up here, you know, taking on the remainder of the garrison here. There's sort of a distinct difference between the garrison and the 187th reinforcements that are coming in. Both are pretty powerful, but I think the garrison is losing where the 187th is winning, and you know, if the 187th can make up for the follies of the garrison, that would be pretty huge. I also think the rioters should attack down this way a lot more, because this is a weak position for the clones. There's very few clone troopers left alive over here, so if the rioters would to do just a big push this way, it could be pretty successful, but instead they seem to be focusing in on this corner, which is not as fruitful for them, I believe. Another sort of battle idea I've had, sorry, my mind's all over the place with video ideas. I had a rush of just sort of like, oh, I could do this, you know, which is sometimes rare, so when it happens, I'm very excited to, you know, have that birth of content ideas. But I was thinking maybe I could do some sort of recreation of the Mandalorian scene where the Mandalorian and the IG-88 unit, you know, take over that compound where Baby Yoda is held. I think that could be a really cool recreation video to do. So I was thinking that might be something I'd be interested in creating. Oh, we do have a couple of Resistance troopers over here pushing in. One actually has the Rebel emblem on his helmet, so he must be a very early addition to the Rebel army. It'd be interesting to find out sort of like how many rebels actually ended up surviving throughout the entire war, you know? I don't think there are a lot of veteran rebels alive because it was such a brutal thing that I feel like most of them probably died out before the end, you know? There are a few, I'm sure. Like Captain Rex. We know Captain Rex lived through Endor, which is awesome. That is like the sickest piece of lore we've ever gotten, I feel like, you know? The fact that we know for a fact that Captain Rex was on Endor and it was confirmed by the Clone Wars creator. That's so cool. That is so epic. I love that. 187th in the inner city here having a little bit of trouble with these Resistance troopers. Well, that was a cheeky little grenade there. A bunch of them getting gunned down, but reinforcements are en route. Where is the bulk of the 187th right now? Oh, they all seem to be over here. Okay. Roger that. If we look at the minimap right now, it seems like the clones might be getting outnumbered. Blue are the clone troopers, red are the rebels, uprisers, whatever you want to call them. And the rebels and uprisers seem to be outnumbering the clones now. So the tides are in fact shifting a little bit. I think we've only had like one time where the clones actually beat the uprisers in terms of these types of videos that I've done where there are uprisers. And we've done just an absolute ton of these videos. I think I have 5 or 6 of them on the channel. So the fact that the clones lose almost every time just sort of shows the strength of having numbers over quality troopers, you know? It's just a very powerful thing that you can just be overwhelmed by, especially in this game where strategy is less of a factor and it's more about, you know, positioning and numbers. So I think that's a major thing. Also, most of the time we usually have clone troopers attacking rather than rioters attacking, so that could be another sort of reason for that. Oh, big 187th push over here. They are in the middle of this alleyway now, cutting off the riders in two. So these riders over here are having to deal with them while these riders over here are. So they sort of just planted themselves in the very middle. That's going to be a big grenade right there. It draws out that rider. That rider decides to stay and gets blown to heck, man. There's still a couple more over there, and the 187th are pushing in very strongly. So it looks like they overcame their numbers deficit over here and decide to do just one big old push. They take down another what is that? Not a Trandoshan. Whatever Greedo is. Rodian? I think it's a Rodian. Took out a Rodian over there. And now they're sort of flanking these guys over this way that were giving these clone troopers some trouble. So that's pretty big. These guys might go down very soon here. They're trying to get a little fire out before they die, hoping to take out at least a few of these 187th clone troopers, make it easier for their surviving resistance troops, because I have a feeling it's almost confirmed that these guys are going to be going down to the resistance now. They don't have much of an option here. It's tough out here. It is tough out here. But the resistance seems to be coming out of the woodwork over here, coming out of their little meeting den and starting to attack the 187th a little bit, but the 187th clapping back with some fire of their own. That could be a big grenade right there. Nope, it didn't quite go far enough. If it was in that doorway, it would have been huge, but it just wasn't. Oh, resistance popping out. Take out 2 clone troopers right there. Oh, lordy, this is a close battle. My favorite kind of battle where you just do not know who is about to win. And I truly don't know. It could go either way right now. Resistance choosing to rely on quite a number of grenades right now, but the clones clapping back by just chucking them back at them. A good strat, a good strat. Ooh, another big one coming out. Ends up tackling that clone. I think he's still alive, though. It's kind of a cool photo. He got up before I could take it. Gosh dang it. Gosh dang it. Alright. They're moving on in here, but getting chopped down before they can really do much. Oh, we also got some more fighting over this way. Oh, clone trooper dies to a Wookiee over here. Meanwhile, Resistance still trying to attack this corner, but these clones have it on lockdown. They're going to need a pincer movement if they want to do that. You know, attack from both sides simultaneously to take that over. That'd be the way to do it. More clones pushing in over here. This is a good long battle, too. You know, we've had very few of those as of late. I feel like most of our battles have been sort of short and sweet. But, every once in a while, it's really nice where you just get a nice lengthy one going. And it's tough to decide who's going to win. It's... You know, not decide, but determine who's gonna win is the better word for it, because you just don't know. It's just a tough guess. So this is kind of cool, and I enjoy it. Oh, that clone was brave, but the bravery might have been his folly right there. That's tough. That is tough. So the 187th has been taken down a peg. They are slim on numbers over here, which is tough to see our boys dying out, but. You know, the 187th did serve their purpose of just a massive flank attack, which was pretty epic in all honesty. Oh, some dude over here. Yeah, this guy over here this way with a sniper rifle, taking out clone after clone. He is pushing in and getting some kills. He's got 10 kills alone. That is impressive. That is very, very impressive for a free-roaming trooper, too. It's way easier if you're in a defensive position to get kills, but if you're free-roaming, that's impressive. He gets another kill right there, and that guy actually had 6 kills, the guy who just died. This guy has 1 kill. This guy has 2. This guy has 5. So the 187th really was effective. This guy has 12? Yeah, the 187th was an absolute powerhouse. This guy's got 2. Good stuff here. This guy's got 3. This guy's got 1. This guy's got none. This guy's got 8. This guy's got 4. This guy's got 1. This guy's got 7. I'd like to check the kills. I think that's fun. That guy's got none. That guy's got 5. That's pretty impressive. Oh, Resistance actually deciding to push forward now. IG-88 unit taking out a 187th trooper. This IG-88 has 4 kills. This rebel has none. This guy's got none. This guy's got 11. That's the guy we saw before. This guy's got 2. This guy's got none. This guy's got 1. This guy's got none. 1. So it seems like everyone's sort of pulling their weight in this battle. I'm going to go ahead and squad up all the units for both sides here, just because it makes them act a little bit more cohesively, which is good. So we've grouped them all together, which is nice. Oh, there's actually a bunch of 187th troopers surviving in this little nook over here. That's good to know. It seems like the only Resistance troopers we have alive are sort of around this blockade here. Oh, they make a little bit of a movement push out, but this 187th chap here is holding the corner rather nicely. Alright, ooh, some more fire coming out somewhere over here. I don't know who died, but I heard an oof. I heard a death. There was death. Can confirm death occurred. Just not sure from whom. Just not sure from whom. Might have been this guy. He might have killed someone. He might have done someone in. Oh, and it's very exciting. I'm getting my semester grades back from college, so I'm a little anxious. I'm getting them back tomorrow at noon. I got a few sometimes professors will email you what grade you got in the class before final grades come out, which is kind of nice in all honesty. Oh, big push here. This guy might be in trouble. So I've gotten a few emails, and one big thing I did this semester was I wrote my thesis paper. It was 25 pages on the One World Government movement, I was very nervous about this because I had never written a 25-page paper before. It's a big undertaking, you know, and it was kind of a big deal for me. So that was very exciting to submit. It was very, made me very anxious. Wow, they're just walking right past these clone troopers. Maybe the clone troopers are going to come out and flank them at the end. That'd be kind of cool. So yeah, either way, I submitted it. I was very anxious. I don't know. It's a challenge to get that page length, you know? Like, I can do, 8-page papers easy. That's not too bad. That's pretty regular for my major, but this 25 pages, it was stretching it, and I was really having difficulty researching the topic too, because not only do you have to write the whole thing, you have to find out all the information about it. You essentially have to become an expert in that field in order to write this cohesive paper. So you end up reading a lot of historical documents. So that was a challenge too, but I ended up getting an A- on the paper, so I felt pretty good about that. I'm kind of proud that I managed to achieve that grade, just given the difficulty of writing such a lengthy paper, you know? I really do feel like if if I was allowed to write 10 pages on the topic, um, I would have probably gotten the A because I felt like at times I was just sort of I was going a little too in depth and just stretching things just to achieve page length, you know? So it would have been a better paper if it was maybe 10 or 15 pages, but I got to 25, got the A minus, so I'm pretty happy. I don't know. I was proud of that. I just found out about that, so I felt like sharing, you know? Sometimes you gotta be proud of yourself on occasion. So, and that's a big thing, you know. A lot of people aren't proud of the work they pull off in school because they feel like it won't affect them later in life. But when you think about it, you know, for me, writing that 25-page paper proved to myself that I could do it. And one of the things I really want to be able to do is write in length about topics because I want to be able to write books in my future and things like that. I really love, one of my goals in life is to just publish something, you know, anything. It doesn't matter what, just something I'm proud of. So being able to achieve that page length and the grade simultaneously proved to myself that I could do it. So in school life, guys, when you feel like, oh, I got a B plus on this test, but it doesn't feel like, you know, what's it matter? It always matters. You always learn something, or you learn a skill like how to study or how to memorize, how to, you know, problem solve, things like that. You're always learning something from school, and even if it does seem sometimes a little bit foolhardy, those skills do come into the workforce, you know, and that's sort of something I've learned through my time at internships and stuff like that. That like, oh, surprisingly, this stuff I learned at school actually did help. So just keep that in mind for the future, guys. It's not always a waste of time. It does, in fact, happen. So that's enough of me rambling about school because I wanted to, and we were at a bit of an impasse in the battle. It seems like we have two battles going on right now. We have the 187th, the last remainders of the 187th, these lads right over here, fighting this tiny little resistance outpost over here of about, you know, 4 or 5 guys. A bunch of them did just die right there, so it might just be that guy left, actually. Oh no, there's another guy right there. And then there's also the mini assault going on over here, but there's actually only 1 trooper left alive over here. So the resistance only has 3 troopers left alive currently, which is not great. And 2 of them are trapped in here. The others sort of at an impasse over here. So I'm thinking it's going to be a clone victory for sure right now. Like almost positively. So why don't we go ahead and we'll just sort of bring these guys out. They might actually be stuck. Oh, that's the problem. They're stuck. Oh, okay. So we'll just have the 187th attack them then. Why don't you guys go ahead and attack these guys here and we can finish up this battle. Alright. Watch out for that guy. Oh, he grenaded. That's probably a good idea because he's stuck so he can't move. So there we go. This guy ends up getting both the kills on him. How many kills did this guy end up having? He had a powerful gun. 5 kills, that's not bad. The VATR is a powerful one. And then, I don't know, let's try and keep this guy alive. We'll get him to the speeder. Nope, he died. So the clones did end up with a victory here. And, you know, the new empire survives another day and they've claimed this city for their own. But really, it was a pretty Pyrrhic victory for the clones. This was a close one overall. I mean, so if we look at the losses, yellow are dead clones, red are dead resistance troopers, and there was death everywhere. Both sides had horrific losses all over the place, and the clones really only have about 20 or so troopers left, so it was a close one. I think without the 187th, the clones surely would have lost, and so that strategy of bringing in flankers by the clone troopers was absolutely instrumental to this little victory here, and it ended up resulting in them securing the bag, securing that nice little dub right there. So guys, very fun battle for me, at least. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a ton. Be sure to comment down below what you thought, and your favorite moments of the battle, all that good stuff. What you'd like me to do next. I'm always taking suggestions for battles. A lot of stuff you guys suggest does end up making it into my battles in one way or another, because you guys are a big influence on my content. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already with notifications on. Either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe, like I said, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.